Hey fellas, welcome to our usual podcast where we dissect matters happening in Kenya and across the world. My name is Candybill and I'm with
Cleme Karuga.
So a lot have been happening and we've been dissecting a lot of issues. One of the issues that have been happening recently is the Ukraine-Russia war. This war is escalating.
Yeah.
And the news reaching me is that some of the US-made missiles were used to hit deep into Russia. So, and we've seen Putin threatening to escalate this matter and also drop nuclear bombs if need be and attack USA and its allies. So what do you have to say about this?
This has been a very vibrant war, a war that has gone since around 2022 up to date.
They're now saying it's 1,000 days since the war started.
Yeah, so a lot of people have died, property, infrastructure. So this Russia-Ukraine war is a war that has been fought between the allies or the three blocks or the two blocks of the USA and the Russian bloc. Whereby understand that most of the Ukraine citizens, most of them are Russians. Yeah, so it's a war
can you make me understand about? I didn't know that fact that most citizens of Ukraine were citizens of Russia. They have Russian names or okay.
Yeah, so most of the citizens of Ukraine, as I've said, most of them are from the Russian population.
Okay.
So it is a war that involves these two countries, whereby President Putin wants to reclaim most of the territories that he claims the territories they belong to Russian government. So you understand that during the fall of the Soviet Union of 1991 is whereby most of the territories that were taken in the USSR, the Republic of USSR.
Okay.
Most of these territories they disintegrated after the fall of the Soviet Union.
Okay.
So, and one of the territories is the present the Russian Federation. Yeah. Then we have the Ukraine. We have others, the Sweden countries and other countries across the Europe, across the Eastern Europe. Across the Eastern Europe. So it is a war that the President Putin wants to reclaim. He says that
to conquer the territories.
You understand that we have a territory like Crimea, Kiev. So you find Putin bombing most of the very important projects, very important infrastructure,
military infrastructure,
of the Ukrainian government. So this is trying to weaken the government of the Ukrainian government of Zelensky.
But I've seen the USA have been supporting Ukraine.
Yeah.
And Joe Biden authorized that the US military or the US can donate their hardware to Ukraine, which have been used. There was a recent attack that hit deep into Russia, and Vladimir Putin received crucial intelligence that USA is behind this. And also remember, there was also some of the military hardware used from France. I mean, Russia is now scared about other foreign Western countries interfering in this war, and also some European countries. And also we saw the other day or the other time, Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin, they formed an alliance which saw Kim Jong-un contributing troops to fight in the front line to support Russia. And also these will escalate the war, because remember, North Korea have nuclear bombs. Russia have nuclear bombs.
The ballistic missiles.
If USA continues like that, supporting Ukraine, this will trigger Vladimir Putin to use even intercontinental ballistic missile. The other time he used he carried a test using one of the intercontinental missiles on Ukraine, making Ukraine to be the first country to be attacked by a intercontinental ballistic missile, to send a warning to USA and NATO. I mean, there's a possibility this war might morph into the world war, and we might see countries such as Israel uniting with United States to attack, to support.
So what do you think is the role of Donald Trump in the Russia-Ukraine war? What do you think is Donald Trump going to control? Is he going to end the war?
Donald Trump will control.
Yeah.
Remember, Joe Biden is trying to sabotage the Trump the administration, how he want to leave a legacy of war that USA is now interfering with Russia, and this will play part in destroying the legacy for Donald Trump, because he's the one who will have to sort this mess. Remember? So I mean, this issue is very critical because Donald Trump has always advocated for dialogue, and over the years we've seen he once visited Kim Jong-un for a dialogue, you know, and they dialogued and they talked about and he warned him about using the N word, N for nuclear. So I mean, Donald Trump also talked with Zelensky, and Zelensky said that if Donald Trump will, you know, will be sworn into power, I mean, the war, it will start a new chapter of the war ending. And also Russia is also positive. They are waiting for this. But this will depend on how Joe Biden is behaving right now, because Joe Biden is trying to sabotage Trump by telling US to donate their military hardware to be used to hit deep into Russia, and this might escalate the issue.
It might lead to maybe to World War III. Remember, as I said earlier, the reason as to why Putin attacked Ukraine. Remember the Russian-Ukraine war began in 2014, where following the Ukraine revolution of dignity, and Russia occupied and annexed Crimea from Ukraine and supported pro-Russian separatists fighting the Ukrainian military, the Donbas war. That is according to this article. Then remember, I said that Ukrainian government is multifaceted ancestry, meaning it has got citizens from Russia, which are 17% of the population, with another population is 78%, which is Ukrainians now in Ukraine, then 4.9% others. Now the others are from other countries. Then, of course, remember, most of the territories of the Ukrainian government, most of them are likely to be taken by Putin. Remember, Putin also is not pro-West, he's pro-East in Europe, and he do not like the perspectives of the Western Europe. Remember that most of the perspective of Western Europe, most of them are is it Republican or Libertarian? Most of them are from not from the liberals, but from the other far right. So, and most of these perspectives of the Eastern Europe, most of them, mostly the Russian Putin, follows the Machiavellian rule, whereby he does not support or champion matters to do with following the bureaucratic processes, which are mostly championed by the Western world, and also most of the infrastructure, or most of the maybe sectors that are attacked by Putin, most of them are maybe the strongholds of the Ukrainian government.
They've been attacking also the military installations, the military bases. But it's a rule of war. If you want to weaken your enemy, first attack the critical areas. If Russia was to attack USA, do you know where they will attack first? Washington, DC, because that's where the headquarters of the US government is, and also they will look for other bases, US Air Force bases across US, and also attack them, because I know they have to weaken the strong points, yeah, so that they can suppress their enemies.
So then, on matters to do with this war, they are fighting for interests. Remember, this is political war.
Yeah, geopolitical.
And in politics, we usually have two constants. One of the constant is interest. Then the other one is betrayal. The same thing that is happening in Kenya. So when you see politicians, and most of these governments are ruled by politicians. When you see a politician maybe changing his own way to join another maybe coalition, that politician is mostly following the interest.
Like the way Ruto want now to join the BRICS.
Yeah, sure.
Following the Trump win, yeah? Yeah.
Now, the other thing is betrayal. You saw one of the politicians in Kenya, who is Gachagua, the former DP.
For deputy president.
Yeah, he was betrayed. And according to our perspective, or according to our thinking, is that this war is all about interest.
Yeah,
the war is in Israel. It's all about interest. The war is in Burkina Faso, whereby in Burkina Faso, whereby Ibrahim Traore, one or the other time, is likely to. Most of them want to plot, or they have already plotted a coup. Remember the other case whereby we had maybe soldiers who are bribed by a certain politician out of stash. They were given a lot of money to overturn the government, overthrow that government. But of course, because the military men, intelligence, they are knowledgeable. Also, they are disciplined, so they did not fall on that trap. And that politician ended up being jailed. Yeah, and also we saw maybe the rise of I can say that, in Africa, apart from the European countries, we must also focus on Africa, whereby our politics is reshaping itself, whereby because our politics was mostly maybe placed at the periphery of the dynamics of politics. Now, as we speak, our politics is being maybe reshaped, and we have now we have nationalism. We also have these leaders who are trying to unite Africans. Yeah. Also, what do you think? Because in Burkina Faso, remember we are speaking of Burkina Faso because an example of a country that is trying to maybe to rule itself from the French government since the 1960s. What do you think is the shape or the path, the trajectory into which the Burkina Faso government is going or heading to? Because we saw that Ibrahim Traore introduced where people who have maybe done something wrong or maybe involved in crime, in bravery, in trying to overthrow the government. Now, Ibrahim Traore introduced maybe unaliving of these people, killing these people, so that it becomes
without trial.
Yeah. First of all, these people are to be tried. Then they'll be unalived. So So what do you think is is this good?
I think what Ibrahim Traore is doing is very good, because they are trying to be independent of the Western countries. You know, many countries usually depend on USA, and when we depend on USA to control us, they become monopoly. You know, they are trying to tell these other countries, the Western countries, that we can also do things on our own without you. You know, we can start, because you can see the case in Russia or Ukraine. If USA continues to interfere with this war, you know, this war will become very dangerous, and it can affect other countries. It can disrupt the global peace. Also, if Western countries interfere maybe in the war between maybe Kenya and Somalia, or they interfere in other wars to propagate their agenda, maybe to sell guns or anything, it can escalate matters. So I mean, Burkina Faso doesn't want other countries to interfere in their matters. They want their country to mine their gold or the other resources they have, and also use these resources fully. They want their country to, to make their own policies independently. You have seen many people calling President Ruto, telling him he's a puppet of the USA. He's being controlled by Meg Whiteman, yeah. So because it's like USA is exerting a lot of influence because they've been loaning us a lot of debt. What Burkina Faso is doing is very good. Yeah. They are sending a message to other African countries. If you become independent, if you rise, Africa can become superpower. But it needs iconoclasts like Ibrahim Traore, because some of the African leaders, I don't think they have the integrity and the ethical, that ability like Traore to manage a country. Some of the leaders are very corrupt. They want to sell tenders. It is very tricky for Africa. But Ibrahim Traore is trying. He's trying. But do you know even USA can kill him? Remember the guy from Mali? What is his name? Can you remind me? The one who was killed by the US.
Mali.
Plotted. Is it Mali or Liberia or Libya or?
Gaddafi.
Yeah. If the US,
Gaddafi from
if
Libya.
the US note that you are such powerful, you are becoming a powerful figure. They can even plot. Something. And lead to your death. They usually want us to be dependent.
So uniting Africa is a problem.
Yeah.
Once you try to unite Africa, maybe you are bought. That is interest. Number two, if you are allied, if you were allied with the West or Eastern Europe, and you decide to follow your path, to be your own man, then you are thrown under the bus.
Yeah.
So that is what happens in Africa. Sure.
So thank you guys. We'll continue dissecting a lot of issues as they happen. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.